I've got to start with Trump claiming that the war is going to end very soon. We don't know. He seemed to go to sleep in one mood, wake up in another mood. Who knows? But this is his latest.
Called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
Are you talking
but soon.
about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very
to
soon. Look, everything they have is gone, including their leadership. In fact, there are two levels of leadership, and even actually, as it turns out, more than that. But two levels of leadership are gone. Most people have never even heard about the leaders that they're talking about. So it's obviously been very, very powerful, very effective.
Well, Iran is showing no signs of reciprocating Trump's claims that the war is going to end very soon. Iranian leaders are saying Trump should be careful that he's not one of those who could be eliminated himself. Chidanand, I want to start with you. In fact, you've been tracking Trump for years now. Is he finally nervous and beginning to show it?
Because look, there are two factors in the U.S. which sort of will determine, to what extent Trump takes this war. One is, of course, the polls, and as best as I can see from every poll that I've looked at, this is the least. This war on Iran has the least support among all the wars U.S. has fought over the past century, and that's Vietnam, Afghanistan, Korea, you name it. This is like sub 40%, right? I mean, that is dismal. Can you imagine India goes to fight a war and 60% of Indian population is against the war? I mean, that is something truly, I think that's a reality check Trump is having to face. The second thing, of course, is gas prices. I mean, this is like onion prices in India, actually more serious, right? And Trump has for the longest time boasted that gas prices are coming down, down, down. Most of it is fiction. I mean, he keeps talking of gas price at $1.99, sub $2. It's never been sub $2 anywhere in the US, but it did drop down to 230, 240. Now we're back up past 350, and now people are talking of 4 if the oil prices go beyond $100 a barrel. And I think that is a very sensitive topic now, and particularly, there are a few months to go for midterm polls and the congressional elections. The entire House of Representatives will be up for election, and if he loses that, he becomes a lame duck president. So those two factors are definitely playing on his mind. Also, the Iranians haven't rolled over. No matter what, the world media, what the Western propaganda says, the regime collapse and stuff like that. Iran is not Venezuela. Iran is not even Iraq or Syria. I mean, this is a country of 90 million people. And it's not like, the world is, or Iranians themselves are great fans of the Ayatollah regime. But the fact is the United States has not been able to roll up or effect a regime change. And there's no guarantee that an incoming regime will be any more amenable to ending the war. In fact, it looks like the Iranians have figured out that if they can drag this long enough, it's the Americans, it's President Trump who will be in trouble, right? So if they have the capacity to, take punishment for months, and they have indicated they are willing to fight on, this war could go on, and that would make President Trump very nervous, particularly, as he approaches the midterm poll. So it definitely,
So are you saying that though it's going badly for Trump, you don't necessarily think it will end very soon?
Well, it could end very soon simply because there's pressure on Trump from his own inner circle, from from the industry, from business interests, because the economy, the American House of Cards economy, also depends on peace to keep things churning. Look, one of the big boasts that Trump threw out very often in the past few weeks is how wonderfully the economy is doing. Dow at 50,000 plus, NASDAQ booming, tech companies, AI. And suddenly now everyone's just talking about this war and nothing else. Yeah. So that's so there's bound to be pressure from big corporations, from industry, from his own tech bros, none of whom are fans of war. And most of all, it's like baseline public. Look, the gas prices is a very, very sensitive issue in the US. And if you're going to approach $4 a gallon, and if they see inflation ticking up, these are all, red flags. And I think the president is aware of that. And increasingly, you're seeing signs that's why he keeps talking about it. It's going to be over soon, even though his own defense secretary is often contradicted him. So there's a sense that he's looking for an off ramp. The Iranians aren't giving it to him. They'd like to, probably, push it into a month or two and see how things go. But it depends on how much punishment they can take. And,
Yeah. Many questions about that, about capacity, about how other countries may get involved, but also one of the most shocking, I thought Trump has ceased to shock me. But I discovered in the last 24 hours that I can still be shocked by Trump. And what shocked me was the way Trump spoke about the sinking of warships. And he claimed that his military colleagues had told him, when he asked them, why don't you just catch them instead of sinking them? And that his military colleagues told him, it's more fun to sink them. This hits home close to India, because we saw a ship that had come to our country as our guest sunk, the IRIS Dana. I want to play out Trump's statement on this and come right to Captain D.K. Sharma after that. Take a look.
The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it? In fact, I got a little upset with our people. I said, what quality of ship? Excellent, sir. Top of the line. I said, why did we just capture the ship? We could have used it. Why did we sink them? They said, it's more fun to sink them. I said, they like sinking them better. They say it's safer to sink them. I guess it's probably true. But
I mean, that is not funny. And I don't know how a president can talk like this and how the people in the audience can clap. I don't know. It's just awful. Captain D.K. Sharma, a lot more is now known about the Iranian ships in the region. Foreign Minister Jaishankar made a statement in Parliament. He said 3 ships actually wanted to dock. All 3 were given approval on the 1st of February. 1 ended up docking in Sri Lanka. 1 ended up docking with us in Kochi. And these sailors that you see marching on your screen through the streets of Visakhapatnam, they were the ill-fated cadets who were on board the IRIS Dana, many of them today lying at the bottom of the Indian Ocean. When you as a naval officer, sir, hear a comment like that, I'm sure it makes you very uncomfortable, because the rules of war say, and Admiral Arun Prakash told me this, that even when you sink an adversary ship, you are actually obliged to help and save the lives of those that you're taking down. Captain Shah.
Barkha, good evening to you. And, a statement of this nature coming from the head of the state, it's quite, perplexing, and it beats me that how can somebody, come out with a statement like this. Having said that, there are, there could have been many ways in which this could have been handled. For example, I was talking to many submariners. First of all, it was a case of, an ant against an elephant, putting a SSN against a frigate which does not have anti-submarine warfare capabilities at all. It was a ship which is designed to carry guns and missiles. Having said that, it could have been disabled. The ship, instead of being torpedoed on the stern, where the engine room is there, where the propulsion is there, and that is the biggest compartment, and that is what you saw, within seconds the ship went down. We were discussing, a lot of submariners were saying that had this been the case, okay, you have to deplete their war-making capability, you have to reduce their ships, which can effectively be put to war. This torpedo could have hit the forecastle or the front part of the ship, and the ship would have been disabled. They can't move, and then they would have got adequate time to abandon the ship. And then whether the ship goes down or not. But in this video, if you say, it's horrifying. It has hit on the stern, the back side of the ship. Like in a car, if you hit the engine, it is in the front, it is crippled. The same way, the ship's engines are on the after part of the ship. And this is where it does it. Anyway, and here also in the laws of armed conflict, there is something called as necessity, and then proportionality, and then distinction. You could have made a distinction that what are we doing? They are coming back, they were not ready, or probably they knew that the balloon has gone up, and probably they were going inside. That is why probably they were taking the inside routes. If you see where this accident or where this prosecution of RS Dana has happened, It is within the EEZ. That means they were within the traffic separation zone and they were trying to skirt inside the safer waters because they knew probably, and this is all my reading of it, there are a lot of trade and the economics flow over there. Ships are there in plenty and they will, mask themselves and move in. But then they were targeted because all of them left the place simultaneously on the evening of 25th or 26th when Milan was called off, or formally called off. So they knew that. And then you also know that a request was made that 3 ships would be seeking refuge here. And probably, whosoever had the problem in the engine, they went closest to Trincomalee. The other one was heading towards probably Cochin, and the third one entered Cochin on the 4th. So, but this was a very sad incident. And coming back to what Chidananda said, I think now he's losing the battle, the narrative, everything. And whatever we are hearing, there is serious issues in the Strait of Hormuz, Gulf of Aden, Persian Gulf, you name it anywhere, all insurance covers have been revoked. Nobody is holding the hand. Energy flow, as he was bringing out, it has gone beyond $100 per barrel. And in the times to come, if situation like this remains. And Barkha, if you recollect, yesterday, day before, we saw there are Indian ships also there, and they were requesting to the DG shipping that please get us out, because the way they are anchored over there, the Gulf, and they have said that no movement is allowed. I mean, say this is, Iran is saying that anybody and everybody could be prosecuted because they are more worried. Bandar Abbas is choked, their naval harbor is choked because of the threat. So now they have put a counter threat. And this is who is suffering? The whole world will suffer. The whole world will suffer, and probably this is the pressure which is going to haunt him. And statements like this with Pete Hegseth and all, it is, in the times to come when it will be debated, they will be mocked upon.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you. Life very, very, and we all consider it to be the same. You have done it, but the guys who were, in the middle of the night, who have just found themselves floating, you have not even provided them with any cover.
Yeah.
It
is against,
it
is against every rule of war. And I think this idea that war doesn't have rules is nonsense. And any genuine soldier such as yourself.
Barkha, I'll just interject. That means might is right. And tomorrow what happens in South China Sea? When the Armada comes out of the PLA, they can also do the same thing. So that means it is a free for all. Whosoever has got, the muscle, they will just go and kill anybody and everybody at sea. How will the economics happen? How will the trade happen at sea? You go anywhere, prosecute anybody and then vanish. Because today, this Indian Ocean thing which has happened, it has opened a plethora of questions. We are having so many countries who operate submarines here. Now they come silently, discreetly, they come and do some action and vanish from there. Now, whom will you say? Yes, till yesterday we were saying the PLA Navy will not come and not berth in Colombo because it disturbs the balance. They cannot come here for anti-piracy. But today now everything is open. We never knew that whether it is a PLA Navy or whether it was US submarine till the time they declared it.
Yeah,
it would have been a very, very difficult proposition to find out.
You have put so many thoughts on the table that we have to talk about, but let me just bring in Nicholas on the global picture. I think Captain DK Sharma is saying the whole world will suffer. This happened near India, so we're agitated. This ship, the guests they were guests of India, so we're agitated. But the consequences of this are being felt around the world. And guess what? Who did Trump pick up the phone and speak to? Putin. And actually, many people believe that Putin is going to emerge as the guy with the last laugh in this, Nicholas. Keir Starmer, for once, did try and stand up a little bit to Trump. And, anyone standing up to him, it's not going so well for them. How are you seeing shifting geopolitics around this war?
Well, you've raised a lot of issues there, but let's go back to what you said at the beginning. Is Trump losing? It depends what the objective is, and we don't know what the objective is. If he is losing support, that's more significant. It reminds me of the old saying that we used to say of our boss: he may not always be right, but he's always the boss. So I'm more interested to know if he's losing public support in the United States, because that's the only thing that could force him to change his mind. That could come through increased prices of petrol or gas. It could come just through popular movement, but I'm not seeing that at the moment. So I think it's too early to say that he's losing. Now, is he losing support internationally? Perhaps, notably in the Gulf, because after all, the Gulf Emirates are suffering more than almost anybody except the Iranians themselves from this. And secondly, Asia in general, because I think the increase or the shortages of fuel that we are anticipating is likely to be felt most severely in Asia. So there could be quite a backlash coming from there, but that won't change his mind necessarily. It could, but and indeed we're beginning to see signs of that. So those are the things I'm interested in. And if I can add a third to the list, what about the Islamic Republic? Because was it the objective? Did Donald Trump back Israel's objective? That seems to be what happened on the 2nd of March, that suddenly American policy is being led by Israeli objectives. And Israel clearly wants to end the Islamic Republic that has been such a threat to it. So these are the questions I want to see the answers to, and of course, I'll speculate on. I'm really, really interested in whether we are on the eve of the end of the Islamic Republic in Iran, but I'm not seeing it so far. And if the war should end within days, then there's no suggestion that the structure of governance that's been in operation in Iran since 1979 is going to change. So more questions than answers, as far as I'm concerned.